G'day everyone, Professor Maple here. We're back on the Sprucecraft server. And what are we doing today? Well, first of all, I've got a couple projects I want to work on, mostly in the Nether though. So we'll just pop in there. There's a bit of a tunnel going to the Guardian farm that we need to finish up. I'm not sure if I've shown you that at all, but what the... Be warned, a lot of work has been done through door. Enter if you're curious, Sir Jude. So someone knows me really well because I'm curious. So let's just take a shaky peeky here. What the? Oh gosh, there are doors after the doors. Okay. What the heck? Like obviously he's not quite done. He's got some hoppers to put in and whatnot. Or rails even, but this is nice. I don't usually like granite, but this is nice. Like this guy's just dancing. He's so happy to see this. And I like what's done with the glass and the sea lanterns. Now that we have infinite sea lanterns, it's good to see someone else on the server using sea lanterns. This is nice. I like it. Just going to take a quick peek down here a bit further. So yeah, now I know why Sir Drew's been spending so much time on the server lately. Because there's been, and I like the design with the stone bricky bricks and the stairs in the corners. It sort of get that little slot open, and I think it's just more of the same as we go down here. So I'll stay recording as I go, but if I don't give you any more update about this, there's nothing new. But what I do see is pretty good looking. Alright, well that was a cool little detour. That was, yeah, it's good to see someone still building on the server, because there hasn't been a lot of traffic lately. But yeah, anyway, so our project, I put these signs up just so people know what leads where, because I've been getting that complaint. But I'm just so used to not having them around that that every time I see them, I think something's there, something more than just a sign. Anyway, so yeah, Mega Taiga, I'm sort of starting a little bit of the pathway there. But I think what we're going to focus on today, well, actually, we're going to split our focus a little bit. We'll do something different. Usually I do one project per episode. This episode, we're going to do a little bit of 2 projects this time, and then maybe work on them for the next however many episodes it takes to finish them. So basically what we're going to do, and hopefully gas doesn't come out right when I'm trying to get in here. Okay, good. All right, so we've got our lovely little tunnel here down to the Guardian farm. It's pretty, it's lovely, it's nice. But the end here, we don't really have anything at the end of the hallway here to really say, hey, you're there. We've just I kind of just haven't finished this area yet. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a bunch of digging, and that may or may not show up as a time lapse. And then we're gonna do a bunch of building in here. Actually, yeah, that's what we'll do now. We'll do that, and then we'll also do a little bit of the other project maybe once we've got like a room shape decided on. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, back on a tick. All right, guys. Guess who happens to be on the server right now? Yeah, Sir Jude's just doing some mining to pick up some rails, or pick up some iron for the rails that he's putting over there in his tunnel there. Meanwhile, I think I've got a general shape I want for this sort of completed, except I might do a bit around this portal, just because I just right before I pressed record, I had a really cool idea where I'm going essentially this portal Well, if you remember the Guardian fight at all, we went through this portal to get to sort of like the outer area. Like, ooh, free nuggets. Come on, free nuggets. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so as you can see there, that's the ooh, I've never seen it from this angle actually. That looks pretty cool. That is pretty awesome actually. So yeah, as you can see here, we've got sort of that encampment going on here, the cabin here. So I think what I'm gonna do is on the nether side of the portal here, going back through. So we're gonna try and recreate sort of that outdoor cabin with the flowers around it and the trees and the grass. And grass is gonna look pretty bad because we are in the nether. But I'm just looking to try it out. We might replace it with like leaves or something because I know the spruce needles or the spruce leaves don't change color when they're in the nether. And there's sort of this. They might work. I don't know. But yeah, we'll try that out. And then, of course, over here, instead of this sort of makeshift staircase we've been using, I've kind of shaped it out so we're going to have sort of the minecart track end here. And we're going to try using a new type of minecart system here where it just goes to the one track and then it sort of diverts off once you get in. You'll understand when I actually show you guys what it looks like, but I've seen one that Mumbo Jumbo uses on his Hermitcraft base, and I'm gonna I don't know if he's got how he built it in an episode of Hermitcraft or anything like that. I'm just gonna try rebuilding it based on what I can see from the outside without seeing the redstone underneath it and all that stuff. It should be still fairly similar to what we're using. It's just going to be a little simpler because we're not going to have two tracks to worry about, or more complicated because we're trying to consolidate two tracks into one. I'm not sure how that'll work. Anyway, so yes, the main staircase is going to come down here, and then we're going to turn to the side here to get to the Guardian farm, and I might decorate down here a bit like how we've got the Guardian farm decorated. I realize this was like a recent project, but I just don't really remember what the entrance is like here, so let's take a look here. So yeah, maybe bring some of these walkway ring thingies here. And maybe a couple of trees and flowers, but I'm apprehensive about doing that in the nether because again, it's going to look, the coloration is going to be yucky. That's that's just to be understood right off the bat there. But yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll maybe recreate something in here. Like, it still will look like a room, because I really... actually, yeah, that's going to be tricky, because I don't want gas spawning in here either. And as few pigmen as possible. So, yeah, I'll figure that out later, but for now, that's as far as we're gonna get on here. I don't want to spend all day on it. Alright, guys. So that's that for a little bit there, just a little bit of planning. I thought, you know, why not try just planning something during a video here. Switch it up a little bit, as opposed to just doing it on the fly like I always seem to do when I decorate things. Anyway, so now what we're going to do is we're going through a new section here. You can see we're sort of extending some of the nether tunnel out here to here. Oh, and I'll have to sort of figure out a section of this to redecorate when I get around to that. Let's get out of the gas range here, because what I'm about to show you is something that I've found a long time ago, and I've been meaning, oh, you can hear it already, been meaning to sort of set up a farm around it, because, okay, so we've got this one blaze spawner here, and of course this torch is not enough to keep things from spawning. But we've also got, as part of the nether fortress, loops around and comes back to this second nether spawner, blaze spawner. the spawner, the thing that's blazes the nether mob thing. But there's a one right here and there. Yeah. I'm sure. Ooh, I'm sure keeping them alive would prevent the mob cap from going up. But whatever. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna make these two into a farm, into one single farm. They're not quite lined up, as you can see from here. That one's sort of just one block over. But I think what we're going to try and do is we're going to set up pads for the blazes to spawn on. We're going to try and... Oh, hi there. So yeah, but pads for them to spawn on. They're going to spawn. We're going to try and push them in so that there's like a middle space in between the two spawners where they can sort of collect, and then we'll push them even further to like a central spot, just to make sure that we can get them all efficiently destroyed, so that we can get blaze rods from them, like the ones I'm wasting right now. I don't usually waste it. My inventory is just full of dirt. So yeah, what we're gonna do now is fight off blazes while we try and get these spawners sort of taken care of here. So that's going to be a job and a half here. This will be interesting because their spawning area almost looks like it intersects, overlaps. That's the word I'm looking for. I need to empty my inventory out a little bit more, just because there are so many blaze rods that are unnecessarily going to waste here. There, do that. Pick them up. There, now we can pick up all these fuel rods. That's what we're calling these from now on, fuel rods. We'll be sticking these in the furnace array. We'll be using them to cook all our food, smelt all our stuff. I'm gonna be at level 40 again in like no time. Okay, well let's... Okay, yeah, they're gonna try and fire at us now. There. Actually, probably didn't need that last one. Another fence. There we go. There. So they'll try and shoot at us, but they won't be able to. Oh, they're all just fighting each other. They're just shooting each other, shooting back, spawning inside me. They're just a rowdy bunch of rascals, and I really hope that these don't like aggro the pigmen to me. That would suck. That would not be good. There, that's one done. It only took me 20 minutes. Something that usually takes me like 3 to 5 minutes. Took me 20 minutes there because of all these blazes. So I'm gonna do that again on the other side now. Alright guys, so now we have all this filled in. Look at all the fire everywhere. Just those blazes. Just, well, now we know why they're called blazes. So yeah, what was the point of putting a bunch of dirt here? And why do I still hear blazes? Well, why do we hear blazes still is because they'll spawn in nether fortresses naturally, so they'll probably end up still spawning around here, but there will be a lot less of them. A lot fewer of them. There won't be as many of them. However you want to word it. Just because we've disabled both of the spawners here, that's what all this dirt's for. Let's just pillar up here. So yeah, we've got these two blaze spawners here that we're going to be building a farm around. And now that I know that they're, although it's not quite even in how they intersect, now that I know that the spawning areas for these spawners intersect the way they do, which I think goes to there for this one, but the other one, yeah, the other one's not quite as far over on the one side. So yeah, we've got this huge area to play with for spawning some lovely blaze beasties here. So I think what we might do is we maybe try and work out a little bit of the system I want to use to try and well, essentially what'll happen is the blazes will spawn, but I want to be able to catch them all and put them into a little area. So I think what we'll probably end up doing is working on the how for the blaze entrapment scenario. Also trying to figure out a way out of here. There we go. So yeah, so I'm gonna have more mining to do, it looks like, just to make sure we've got some room to play with here. But once that's done, we should be okay to start working on the how. How are we going to get all these blazes into one location? Anyway, back in a little while here. Alright guys, so we're back on the Plot World server here. Good old Exumavoid Plot World server. And this is what we've got for a spawning area here. The emerald blocks represent the spawners. The dirt, and of course dirt in this case represents where the spawning area has been stopped by the dirt on Sprucecraft. Obsidian shows where the platform will be for them to spawn on the blazes. The furnaces are sort of where it overlaps between one and the other, and the melons are where essentially we've just made a rectangle for the sake of making the whole rectangle, as opposed to trying to work around sort of where each spawning area ends, because this obsidian is where it spawns. Melons are where blazes won't spawn, and sort of because they're off by one block, it's not quite as congruent as we'd like it to be. Plus, I've decided it's possible. Well, you'll notice that melons, furnaces, obsidian, they're all immovable object blocks, right? So it's possible I might use slime blocks to move these blazes around, because we can't use water in the nether. That's my usual go-to. So redstone and slime blocks and pistons, or... well, my other idea was mine carts and activator rails, but I'm not entirely sure that will quite work the way I want it to. So yeah, we'll get figuring something out, and we'll get back to this. Alright guys, so we're back on the Sprucecraft server again. This is sort of my mock-up of the blaze farm. You'll see we're safely back in the base, just because there's no way I'd do this. It would take me at least 4 times as long just to set this up with all those mobs in the fortress there. So basically what I'm going to do, I think, is a modified version of well, you guys remember these, was it these melon farms that are done by Nim's Toots? No, it was the fish farm up top there that Nim's Toots, short for Nim's Tutorials. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna be borrowing the design concept from him, but of course we're gonna have to modify it because we've got such a large area. These furnace floors are essentially where the spawning pads are, minus this area in here. They're like, normally blazes can spawn in there, but because slime blocks can only move so many, well, pistons and slime blocks can only move so many blocks at once. We're kind of limited on by that in terms of how far they can push mobs. So I've got essentially the part that I've borrowed from Nim's Toots so far. And I know I'll be using the crushing circuit from him too. Oops. But we've got, did I not have one that far? Guess not, doesn't sound like it. Okay, anyway, so that's why. I've been fiddling around with this one. I should be showing you the other one. Anyway, so what we've got is essentially the pistons and the sticky pistons in the slime blocks are going to push the mobs off into a sort of like a pit here. And I'm not sure if I want to have them, I'll have to make it a deeper pit just to make sure that this redstone has enough room and doesn't intermingle with this redstone. That'll be for the crusher pistons here. But I might just do a line of pistons and have them all sort of standing in the corridor here, about level with the have head level with where these wool blocks are. They won't be wool in the actual farm, but you know, and then have they crush the whole row. And actually, now that I think of it, I could probably use slime blocks for this just to keep things a bit. Oh, but wait, would they get suffocated by slime blocks? That's something I'd have to test out too. For now, we'll use just all pistons and power them all, because I'm sure that'll be just a little easier. So yeah, it's a bit of a piston-heavy design so far, especially since we'll have two sides that'll have crushers, and they're not all at one point, and then we'll have to have hoppers underneath them too. Okay, yeah, this is turning out to be an expensive project, but one I'm sure we can complete in time here. I guess this episode's a little lopsided, not quite equal time between the nether tunnel and the farm here, but you know, I think it's gonna come along nicely here. So yeah, again, I'm gonna link Nim's Toots down in the tutorial for the Blaze farm that I'm sort of borrowing ideas from. And by borrowing, I mean it's pretty much the same entire whole design. I'm just changing it so that it's a little bigger. So yeah, it is mostly his. He deserves all the credit for this, really. I'm just fiddling around with it to make it fit what I need. So anyway, yeah, so I think we're going to end it here. So if you enjoyed this episode, definitely plop a comment and a like in the video page there. Don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time here. You get to see more of this, more of some of my previous stuff. I've got a couple tutorials, not a lot, but a couple, and they're pretty good. Yeah. I'll see you next episode. Goodbye!